Hey everybody, my name is John Suscovich and I want to talk to you today about starting a farm, and more importantly I want to bring on some friends onto this YouTube channel to discuss some hard lessons that they've learned, something that they wish they knew when they started out that they know now that just would be super valuable. And in December I went to the APPPA conference, the American Pastured Poultry Producers Association conference, and at that annual conference was a collection of years, decades, I would say centuries of pastured poultry experience all in one room. Now, I went there to help shorten my learning curve, and to help you shorten your learning curve, I also went there with my good friend Mike and a couple cameras and microphones, and we recorded some of those questions that I asked other APPPA growers. So I got to interview 22 people. This is the first video in a short series this week where we're asking everybody the same question. You're gonna hear everybody's different take on the answers. For more backstory on what I did here, stick around to the end of the episode, and also right after they give their answer, I'm gonna give you my take on their response. So starting it off with Grady, his response to that question: what is one thing you know now that you wish you knew when you were starting out?
My name is Grady Phelan. I'm from Waco, Texas, and I manage APPPA Farm. Probably the most important thing I wish I knew when I started, which I learned and didn't actually deviate from this, was that start small and grow from there. Farming, any farming enterprise you do is very risky, and it's not necessarily just risky from financial point of view. It's risky because we battle the environment and we can't control that. And so we have two risks. We have the risk of selling our product, and we have the risk of producing our product. If I'm just making a widget in a manufacturing facility, the production might not have many risks. You know, if it's a rainy day that day, it doesn't matter. But when I'm making food, whether it be produce or meat or anything, specifically pastured poultry, it's very risky to produce that product. And so start small, build your customer base, and grow with your customers. That way, that part of it is not as risky as it could be in other marketing other products.
So that was some great advice from Grady. Thank you, Grady, for taking the time to let me interview and bug you during the APPPA conference. Everybody who was behind the camera was or in front of the camera was a really good sport about it. So my take on Grady's advice is that Grady is spot on 100%. Starting small, and this applies to people who are inexperienced and brand new farmers, and people who are experienced farmers. Starting small this year as we get into the season, as it is spring 2019, still makes sense for everybody. Now you're starting small if you're just beginning, where you don't want to raise 1,000 chickens your first year because you may not be able to sell 1,000 chickens. And if you can, great, but let the market pull your direction instead of you pushing product out into the market. That has been a hard lesson learned. I've been guilty of that. I'm sure Grady has, which is why he gave that piece of advice. And for the grower who is deciding to grow their business this year, instead of leaping from 1,000 to 10,000 chickens, starting small, starting with your growth steps of having a responsible next investment into your business this year. Always be kind of growing, maintaining, iterating, finding a way to expand, not necessarily in total production, but efficiency of production, or there's 1,000 little nuances that I would try to squeeze into a 3-minute video. But all that to say, heed Grady's advice. It's spot on. I couldn't say it better myself. Now at that APPPA conference, I interviewed 22 different people, asked them three different questions each, and I've been breaking those interviews up, working with Paul to help me cut up the clips, and we're going to be dripping them out here on YouTube this week because we're getting into the spring and a lot of people are starting up their season right about now in March. I wanted to start this 5-person video series, 5 different answers to the question, what is one thing you know now that you wish you knew when you were starting out? Just because we're all ready to, boots to the ground. Some of us are already in it. Some of us are boots on the ground, out in the fields, getting stuff ready, or in the greenhouses, or ordering chicks, or the brooders are already fired up. And we're at that starting point, and it's about to get real for people who farm in the northern hemisphere. We're just, take this video for wherever you are because we have an international audience. So today we went with Grady and starting small. We're going over to my friend Jordan tomorrow. Jordan, his hard lesson learned, it was really good. It again aligns with mine, and Jordan's doing some really amazing stuff with his farm. So stay tuned, subscribe for tomorrow. for another member of APPPA. If you want to know more about APPPA and their mission, which I fully support, and I'll explain that more tomorrow, go to appa.org. That's APPP, 3 Ps, APPPA.org, and you will get all the information you could possibly want about pastured poultry right on their homepage. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and until next time, I will see you out in the field.